A company out of Long Beach, California is part of the UFO crash retrieval program, and they operate globally. This is coming from veteran journalist Roth Coulthart in a recent interview about 10 days ago. This is huge. This is an amazing story, and there's actually even more to it than that. So let's get into it. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and comment below as I'm going through the story. Also, please support the channel if you would like to by becoming a channel member. Channel members receive exclusive access and videos. See the first line in the description below for that, or simply leave a tip in the tip jar with the super thanks feature below. Or heck, I'm a novelist, buy one of my books. Just go to Amazon, link in the description. Okay, moving on with the story. This is from a really great interview that Ross gave less than 2 weeks ago, or at least that's when it aired. And he dropped some incredible stuff in this story, in this interview. And in the first part of the interview, or the segment that I'm going to share, he actually talks about Australian Special Forces, or former Australian Special Forces, people that were working with a aerospace company, presumably in Australia, that were going around collecting UFOs on behalf of that company that may or may not be associated with the broader program, because he also talks about the Americans going into Australia to, collect UFOs. Why would there be Americans going into Australia to collect UFOs if there was actually already an Australian team composed of former Special Forces military guys? It's a weird story, but I totally believe it. But let's let Ross speak for himself. Here goes.
And I don't think it's at all inconceivable, especially if it, as I understand it has been, if it's been tucked off into private aerospace. I mean, I recently engaged with sources who are former Australian Special Forces military, who tell me that they've participated in what essentially is a kind of U.A.P. material retrieval program. They were commissioned by a private aerospace company to go around the world and investigate and collect data and material pertaining to U.A.P. sightings. And it's really interesting because there's an incident that I'm aware of in the Australian outback involving the crash of some kind of an object. And I've now interviewed farmers who've told me that they saw left-hand drive American vehicles driving through the Australian outback with people wearing American military uniforms, something that doesn't often happen in the Australian outback. But basically,
can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Not a lot I can tell you. I'm still investigating it. But basically, it does appear to me that there are military units that are operated out of a private aerospace company in Long Beach, California, that are involved in attempted UAP object or space object retrieval.
Isn't that fascinating? So we've got, Special Forces guys from Australia going around the world collecting UFOs on behalf of some unnamed aerospace company. And at the same time, we've got American people working with an aerospace company from Long Beach that are going around the world, going to Australia in this case, to collect a UFO. So why is an American team going for a crash retrieval if there's already an Australian team doing that? Are these competing interests? Are these competing agencies? Or, is the Australia control group different from the U.S. control group? Because we have heard from some stories, like Lance Corporal Wygant, that actually the control group is a multinational consortium. what's up. But Ross also had some other interesting stuff to say. He talks about a secret program called Project Moondust. Here that is.
And there was indeed, during the Cold War, there was a secret operation called Moondust. That was Project Moondust, which did actually target Russian, Chinese, intercontinental ballistic missile nose cones and anything else that landed, so that we could spy on the kind of technology that they were developing and get ahead of them on the latest missile designs and rocket designs. There are now documents that have been declassified that shows that Moondust was also involved in UFO retrieval. And one of the things that shocked me when I was doing my research, the skeptical journo like myself who walked into this thinking I'm very soon going to be able to demonstrate that this is secret military technology, as Isabella's questions have quite rightly inferred it might be. There's an incredible document from the CIA's office in Pakistan, which has been declassified, which records the discovery of a flying saucer. That's how it's described, with a full description of this elliptical disc metallic shaped object that's been recovered whole from the ground in either part of Pakistan or Afghanistan. There are multiple cases like this, and there's another one in Africa. But these are all referred to as part of Project Moondust, Operation Moondust, and they all get taken back to what sounds like a veritable car park of UFOs at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base's Foreign Technology Division.
Whoa, isn't that amazing? A car park full of UFOs at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. That is crazy. Of course, that's not the first time I've heard that. That has actually been around for a while, and that seems like it's probably a legit story. And it's probably not the only place where these things are parked and worked on. Obviously, one thinks of S4 in Area 51 and presumably other locations as well. Anyway, a crazy story, but there do seem to be credible sources like Ross Coulthart talking about UFO crash retrievals. This is a global initiative of some sort, possibly multiple global initiatives from competing interests. We really need more information about that. It's also interesting to note that it is located, or some of it, I don't want to mischaracterize it, some of it is located in the private sector, and yet Ross Coulthart talks about this stuff being parked at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Now, that was then. Has it shifted into the private sector now? Well, no. Why do I say no? Well, because the control group still has enough juice to intimidate Admiral Tom Wilson, the director of the DIA, a big intelligence agency in the modern era. So they are still heavily involved in the government. And, I would say probably mostly in the government, or at least a majority in the government, with also a great deal in the private sector. This is a vast enterprise. This is a big, big enterprise. Richard Dolan calls it the breakaway civilization. I used to think that was a little bit overblown, and I like the breakaway group better. But the more I look into it, the bigger of an enterprise it is, and the more appropriate breakaway civilization seems. So, anyway, a great story. What do you think about all this? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Please smash the subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss a single video. Please join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. And please, if you enjoy these videos, please consider supporting the channel by becoming a channel member. See the first line in the description below, and there's 2 tiers of membership to receive exclusive access in videos. Until next time, this is Jack with Cosmic Road.